My name is Andy Weed. My title is Clinical Associate Professor. I work within the Design School within Arizona State University. And I'd like to just make one comment about the question. I find a job is work that brings no pleasure. Work is a virtue. I think of what that part of my life is working, not a job. I like to wake up early with the sun. I wake up on a mattress which is on the floor of a room which has 11-foot ceilings, so it gives me a sense of space. The cat that I live with is generally sleeping on the bed next to me. Her name's Doodles. During the semester, I'll ride my bicycle, which is about 3 small blocks to the university. And when I'm at the university, my day is usually composed of working with students in studios. So what I'm doing is trying to help the students as much as possible to get their work to be at the highest level possible. So drawing is very important to me. I look at it as a language. For me, it's the best way to translate ideas, which I have, that nobody can understand until I somehow bring it out with a drawing. So because of my fascination with drawing, my parents were very encouraging. And when I finished high school, my parents pushed me and said, you go into university. And they pretty much chose the path of graphic design. And at the time, I had no idea what it was. It's been said that good design is goodwill. I think that's a really nice way to look at it. That you're making something to help people a little bit. Good design for me is generous in its form. It's clear. Just looking at some signage that's not so, and when there's a lot of it and you get overloaded, as I'm sure you're all aware. I even have a hard time going in grocery stores because there's all these cans and boxes and labels, and they're all like screaming for my attention, and I get overloaded. Don't be afraid to make something simple. The opposite of simple is complicated, not complex. Complex is something that's made up of parts, and I would say that everything is complex. Simple is not what is commonly thought of it as. It's not easy. Simple and easy are not synonyms. It is very difficult to make something simple. It takes a lot of effort. I think a good way to describe it is that it's very easy to make something complicated. All you have to do is take your garbage can and dump it on the ground. Proportion is the relationship of things. The more simple the proportion, the more exciting. So a very simple proportion would be 1-to-1. This hat, made by an Amish, the craftsmanship in this thing is amazing. The corn weaving and by hand, it's just incredible. But really the beauty for me in this hat lies in its proportion. It has a proportion of 1-to-1. Its nickname is 4x4. So because it has a 4-inch brim and a 4-inch height. Process for me is everything. I think today we live in a very goal-oriented world. You try to get to all these so-called milestones, all these goals, and ignoring the process to get there. It seems so sad to me, because the beauty in life lies in walking with Doodles to feed her. This whole process of getting on my bicycle, riding through the neighborhood, this process, it's everything, it's life. My understanding of life comes from direct experiences through my senses. The good ways to get this are working. Another good way I think to get this is to travel. Try things. Try as many things as possible, different foods, different drinks. Experience life. Understanding is the big idea. And I guess what I'm saying is that there's a lot of weight being put on knowledge. Knowledge comes from things like history. comes from reading, comes from memorization. But to me, real understanding comes from touching things, living, trying things, traveling, working. Not being afraid to try something. Crazy ideas. That's the big idea.